Good morning, gang. Happy Friday morning. All right, no, I'm not talking about the stock market. It looks like it's going to be crap again today. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about your indictment bingo card. Yeah, okay. All the crap that Pam Bondi got for, oh God, the last 8 or 9 months about when are we going to see the indictments? When are we going to see the indictments? All of a sudden, that's gone quiet because we saw James Comey indicted. We saw Tish James indicted. And yesterday we saw John Bolton indicted. 18 counts of mishandling classified documents, top secret and secret documents in his house. Interesting. To top it off, not only had he withheld all these documents, but Iran also hacked his email account. Now, we don't know if he kept paper copies of the classified information or electronic. And he reported that Iran hacked his email, but never bothered to say anything about the fact that he had classified documents. Okay. Yeah. So Bolton's now under the gun, draining the swamp. Good. It's funny listening to the instant defense out of James Comey or Letitia James or now John Bolton. They're weaponizing the Department of Justice, going after their political foes. No, maybe the people that don't understand how an indictment works would think that. But the reality is, a grand jury was convened of regular everyday Joes. The grand jury saw the evidence, heard the evidence, and a grand jury of regular everyday Joes decided to indict James Comey, Letitia James, and John Bolton. The Department of Justice doesn't decide who's indicted. They will decide who to present charges to a grand jury for, but the grand jury is the ultimate one that says, yeah, bring them up on charges, or no, you don't have anything there. And the grand juries have all decided, yeah, you have something there. Let's take this to court. So it's not weaponization of the Department of Justice. It's the American people getting a say in how Washington is run and how crimes are prosecuted. The other funny thing that you hear about all this is blaming Donald Trump. Oh, Trump is just going after his political enemies. When the Democrats get in power, they're going to go after the Republicans. Okay. Challenge accepted. If we have a Democrat president, possibly ever get elected again in my life, okay, after the cast of clowns that's running now, and they want to go after corrupt Republicans, I'm all for it. Okay? Newsflash. This isn't a persecution of leftists. This is a persecution of criminals. If all of a sudden, hypothetically, AOC winds up president and appoints, I don't know, pick some lunatic, Letitia James as the Attorney General, okay, and she wants to prosecute, pick a Republican, for crimes, okay, go get an indictment and hear it through court. I'm all for that. No problem. Draining the swamp to me does not mean draining it from a political party. Draining the swamp means draining corrupt people, criminals. Remember, John Bolton served in the first Trump administration until Trump fired him. Okay, I would hardly call him a liberal. At this point, I would certainly call him a never Trumper. But no, this isn't a persecution of leftists. This is a persecution of criminals. Good. Don't care which side of the aisle the criminals sit on. So who's next? This is where I say we get the bingo card out. Are they going to go after Joe Biden for storing classified documents? Well, he was vice president, okay, that he didn't have authority to have those outside a SCIF. Are they going to go after Nancy Pelosi for January 6th? She seems pretty worried about January 6th lately. The cover-up that they've been trying to pull has been falling apart at the seams. And it seems like it's all landing on Nancy Pelosi. Could she get indicted? How about Hillary Clinton? Could we see that over personal servers, over BleachBit, over Benghazi? It's possible. Honestly, I don't see any of those happening. Biden and Hillary Clinton are has-beens, okay? I mean, they have no influence whatsoever over the government. You know, running around on a book tour, sitting on The View is not exactly a threat to national security anymore. Nancy Pelosi, that's a different story. Okay, we'll see. But who's next? There's a cast of clowns that it could be. But the whole point is this. Good. We are doing so. This is the people taking back the government. This isn't persecution. Hey, there's the story about the congresswoman from Arizona that's trying to get seated, that Mike Johnson won't seat until the government opens, which actually is following the law. Okay. I love all those stories about the Arizona AG going to sue Mike Johnson to get her seated. You have no standing, lady. You're a state attorney general. He's the federal Speaker of the House. You have no standing. Okay. But when she comes in, she's going to be the vote needed to release the Epstein files. Good. Let's release those files. Not redacted. Let's release everything. Let's get this behind us. Oh, but there might be big important names on there. Fine. That's what we all want to know. And I hate to tell you this. Most of the American public doesn't care what the letter behind the name is. They just care what the name is. Whoever's on there, pick somebody, okay? If they were diddling with little girls or little boys, they need to be prosecuted. They need the full extent of the law exercised on them, regardless of party. That's pretty much how the government is supposed to work. We are not supposed to have a government of criminals and corruption. If we wanted that, we could all move to Mexico, because they got plenty of that down there. You know, where the Mexican president is, and the federales are paid off by the cartels. Here in the United States, they're paid off by the pharmaceutical companies and the defense contractors. What's the difference? We need to get to the bottom of this. It's about time we take our country back. It's about time we take our government back. You know, you look at the dozen or so people in the Senate that are over 80 years old. Why don't they retire? Oh, well, they don't know anything else. I can't think of many people who go, you know what? I'm pushing 90 and I still want to go to work. No, there's a reason. They don't do anything, but the grift is too enticing for them to leave. And so they don't. And unfortunately, the American public keeps putting them back in office every time they're up for re-election. Dianne Feinstein practically died on the Senate floor, but she kept getting reelected. It's about time, with elections coming up in a year, that people go, we need to bring in vibrant, I don't want to say youthful, because 50s, 60s is a good age for people in government, because they've already been around the block once or twice, electing airheads like AOC who have no experience in life whatsoever to make the laws of the country make no sense. Okay, I want to see people that have run a business or contributed to society somehow, have a little bit of wisdom, have a little bit of life experience to take to Washington, not somebody who's got ideals and no plans. But it's about time that we're finally seeing the DOJ at least bring things to a grand jury and get rid of some of these criminals. I think this is small potatoes where we're starting. James Comey's been out of public life for a few years. Letitia James is a nobody, okay? John Bolton is nothing more than a talking head on cable news. But this is the volley. This is, let's just toss this one out there and see how the public responds. And if they respond to these D-level people, let's move up to the C's, the B's, and the A's. Personally, I'm all for it. I want to see handcuffs. I want to see orange jumpsuits. I want to see perp walks. And I want to see this country back to a group that can respect the people that make the laws, not throw up every time we hear their name. Pinball out.